You know that feeling? You spin up a fresh Linux install and you just stare at it, kind of overwhelmed. I mean, you've got all this power, but now you have to build your entire workshop from scratch. Well, today we're diving into a project that aims to solve exactly that. It's called Omarchi, and it's a curated, opinionated Linux setup for developers who just want to get straight to work. Let's start by digging into the exact problem it's trying to solve. This quote from the YouTuber Typecraft just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's the paradox of choice. You get all this freedom, but that freedom can lead you right into what we call configuration hell, where you end up spending more time tweaking your environment than actually, using it. It's a problem a lot of us know way too well. So here's our game plan. We'll kick off with the problem itself. Then we'll define what Omarchi is all about. After that, we'll take a quick tour of its features, figure out if it's the right fit for you, and see how you can test it out totally risk-free. And to wrap it all up, we'll get into the philosophy of joy that really drives this whole project. All right, let's jump into that problem. These highly customizable systems, especially the ones built on Arch Linux, they've got a bit of a reputation. They're seen as incredibly powerful, sure, but also really complex and demanding. Oh yeah, you've all seen the meme. It's like this badge of honor, but let's be real, it also kind of hints at a super steep learning curve and maybe a little bit of gatekeeping. The whole idea is that you've got to be some kind of expert, ready to spend hours, maybe days, reading endless manuals and just tinkering away to get a working desktop. But here's the good news. That's not the whole story. What if you could get all the power and the leanness of an Arch system without spending weeks building it from the ground up? What if someone else already did all the hard work for you? And that, right there, brings us to the solution, Omarchi. It's designed to be this really elegant answer to the configuration nightmare, and its name tells you everything you need to know about how it works. So the name comes from this core concept, omakase. It's a Japanese philosophy that's all about trust. You're trusting the chef's expertise to curate the absolute best experience for you. You don't sit there picking every single ingredient. You just trust their vision. So in this metaphor, the developer of Omarchi, DHH, he's the chef. He's hand-picked all the components, configured them so they work together beautifully, and presented this complete, ready-to-use meal specifically for developers. You just get to sit down and enjoy a world-class environment right away. So what are the ingredients in this meal? Well, Omarchi is built on the super solid rolling release foundation of Arch Linux. For the desktop environment, it uses Hyperland, which is a really modern and slick tiling window manager. And the goal here is simple, to give you a setup that's not only gorgeous to look at, but also makes you super productive, right from the moment you first log in. So, if DHH is the chef, what's he actually putting on the plate? Let's take a quick spin through the features that come pre-packaged with Omarchi. And this is where you can really see that omakase philosophy shine. It's not just some bare-bones system. You get all the essential dev tools, like a pre-configured NeoVim setup and Docker ready to go. You even get everyday apps like Spotify and Zoom. And get this, it comes with over 10 beautiful themes like Tokyo Night already installed. But the best part? You can switch between them with a single keyboard shortcut, instantly changing the whole look and feel of your desktop. Everything is keyboard-driven, deeply integrated, and secure right out of the box. Okay, but let's be honest, a chef's choice menu isn't for absolutely everyone. So who is the ideal person for Omarchi? It's pretty important to know if this particular flavor of Linux is going to be right for you. This comparison here is really key. Omarchi is built on Arch, and it's totally aimed at developers and advanced users, people who are comfortable living in the terminal and tweaking configuration files. Now, if that sounds a little intimidating, no worries. There's a sibling project called Omakukub. It's based on Ubuntu, and it's a much gentler introduction for anyone who prefers a more traditional, graphical environment. It's all about picking the path that fits your style and your comfort level. All right, so let's say Omarchi is sounding like your kind of thing. The next logical fear is probably, do I have to completely wipe my computer to try this out? And the answer to that is a big, resounding no. Let's look at how you can get started safely. First off, can we just take a second to appreciate how simple this installation actually is? I mean, when people hear Arch install, they immediately picture like a week straight of command line wizardry, right? But honestly, thanks to the modern Arch install script, getting that base system up is surprisingly easy. From there, you just need one little tool, wget, and then you run a single command. That's it, one line. And that one line pulls down the whole script and just poof, transforms your bare-bones Arch system into the full Omarchi experience. But what if you don't even want to commit to installing Arch on your main drive just yet? You just want to take it for a spin. How can you do that without touching your current setup at all?
Well, you've got some great options. The absolute safest is a virtual machine. It just runs Omarchi in a window right on your current desktop. For full screaming performance, you can dual boot it alongside your current OS. If you're on Windows and you're mostly just interested in the terminal tools, WSL2 is a fantastic choice. And for the quickest zero-install taste test, you can just run it from a live USB. As you can see, each way has its pros and cons, but they all give you a totally safe way to experience Omarchi.
And finally, let's talk about the why, because Omarchi isn't just a collection of scripts and packages. There's a much deeper philosophy behind it, and it's focused on something we can easily lose sight of in our day-to-day work. This is the mantra: code, not configure. It's all about removing friction. It's about creating an environment that's so seamless, so beautiful, and so efficient that the tool itself just melts into the background. You can finally stop messing with settings and just focus on what you actually want to create. And, the success of this project isn't just theoretical. It's about creating an environment that doesn't just work well, but feels good to use. The creator told this awesome story about a developer who had never once contributed to open source before. They were so inspired by the whole Omarchi setup that they submitted their very first pull request just to make one tiny improvement. I mean, when a tool inspires you to participate and create, you know it's something really special. So that leaves us with one last question to chew on. We spend so much of our time configuring, troubleshooting, and just fighting with our tools. What if we didn't have to do that? Could trusting a chef's choice approach, like Omarchi, be the thing that finally gets rid of all that tedious stuff and brings back the simple joy of just building things? It's definitely something worth thinking about.